Okay, in this video we will configure Apache to work with the Django framework. Okay, so in order for us to actually get that up and running, as you can see right now, in the previous video we set up Apache to execute Python scripts such as this guy here. And we did that. So we would have to update the Apache configuration file, and just basically we're going to unset, we're going to remove our custom configurations. It's because we're going to install a module to actually do this for us. Well, it's going to allow us to actually execute Python files, especially within the Django framework. So I'm going to remove that exec CGI command. And what else we had? We had the let me just do an add handler. Where's my handler? Let's go down. We're looking for that to remove the .py. I believe there he goes right here. We're going to remove that guy, and we should be good. Okay, so that was about it. Save that. I'm not going to restart the system yet. So what are we going to do first is we're actually going to create a virtual environment, a Python virtual environment. So I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'm going to cd into my folder where I create all of my where I prefer to keep all of my code, which is a code folder within my C drive, and there's nothing in it currently. The reason why we want to create a Python virtual environment, because we want to keep separate all the add-ons or the modules or packages. We want that contained within its own folder. We don't want it. So if I were to do a pip freeze, this is globally, this is within my computer itself, you will see I have a couple, right? So I don't want to keep adding more onto my computer itself. I want to keep it separate. So in order to create a virtual environment, I'll just type in Python -m, and then this is the virtual environment executable I'm using, and then give it the name of the folder you want the virtual environment to live in. In this case, I'm just going to name it the same as the command. So I'm just going to name this going to be my virtual environment folder, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay. Now once that is complete, I am going to cd into it and then activate it. Okay, so cd into vn. We can just go into VM and then scripts activate. Okay, so now we're actually in it, and you can tell because you see it says right here vnv. Okay, so if I ls into it, you just see there's nothing in there, right? We're not going to touch none of these files in here. Now the next thing we're going to do is actually attempt to install the mod WSGI package. The reason why I say attempt is because we're going to receive an error because we have to set an environment variable to point to the Apache web server, the directory where the Apache web server lives in. In this case, I'm just going to want to actually run the command so you can actually see the error, and it will actually give us that command that we need to point to the variable, to create the variable that is. Okay, so I'm just going to do a pip install mod underscore WSGI, right? Okay, yeah, and also this will give us a warning as well to letting us know that we have to upgrade our pip. So this is the warning here. Okay, so you're saying that I'm on a lower version 20.2 and there's a 21.1.0, but we really care about this runtime error. Okay, when it says there's runtime error, no Apache installation can be found, we have to set the mod WSG Apache root to its location. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Okay, and since I'm in the Windows PowerShell, as you can see up here, this terminal is using Windows PowerShell. So if you are in just a plain old command prompt, you would use set to create an environment variable. In Apache, I'm sorry, in the PowerShell, we would use $env to create the the environment variable. And I just paste that. That's the command. And then you just have to put the equal and the location of your Apache installation. In my case, I have Apache right in the root of my C drive. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it in, and hit enter. Okay, so now I have that environment variable, and I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade. Copy the scripts. I'm going to upgrade the pip installation. So once that has been upgraded, the pip, since it's quick, I'm just gonna rerun the command. So I'm gonna do pip install space on mod underscore WSGI. Okay, and that should be a very quick installation. Next, we're going to actually run a command that's included with this package. Okay, so if you do a pip freeze, you would actually see this is the only package that I have installed. Okay, so now I could just run the command mod underscore WSGI dash express without giving them any parameters, and it's going to tell you the two commands that we have access to, which is module config and module location. So I'm just going to copy the module config. Okay, I'm going to press up and I'm going to press enter. Okay, so now you see this is we have load module and it's pointing to the module, and we have the Python home which is pointing to this, and which we're going to change this because this is not, we don't want this as our Python home. So I'm just going to copy that. Okay, I'm going to paste it back at the bottom of my httpd conf file, which is our Apache configuration file. Okay, save that. Now the thing is, if I was to run this right now, we will receive an error. Okay, and I know that's for a fact. Let me just clear out errors, just make sure we have no errors. Okay, I just want to clear any errors out. And why did I not? Okay, apparently that was the first time that happened to me. All right, so we're just gonna run this as an admin. Okay, so I just want to clear it out. It's not required. You can just go. I just want to make sure that the errors, the logs is cleared. There are no logs. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna clear that out. And strangely, it's not giving me. It's like if it's read only for me. All right, so forget it. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. So this will give me an error if I try restarting the system because it's not gonna understand these commands. So what we would have to do is we would have to actually load or add some more variables that's pointing to certain locations. Okay, so the first one above here is going to be load file, right? So basically this is going to be a file that's pointing to a DLL, in which it's the Python DLL, and it's let's go into that folder. What is that? Users. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not users. It's probably program data. This is where I actually installed. No, it was users. I'm sorry. It was users. Local. I mean, the name of your login user. Or this is where I installed it. So you would actually look for the location of the Python you installed it, in which my case was programs Python 39, and then this is my Python installation. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, and what we're going to actually include in this file is this right here, this Python 39.dll. Yours may be different depending on the version of Python you have installed. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this name. I don't feel like typing. Okay. All right, I'm going to save that. So now we have the load file, and we have this home directory, Python home. In this case, we don't want this to be the home. we want to point it to the same location that I have the programs. We want that to be pointed to it as well. So I'm just going to do here. Oops. Apparently I didn't copy the path. All right. So let's get this. So this is going to be the home directory. Okay. Save that. So initially, this will work. It would allow you to restart the Apache without any errors. But let's go forward and add the other, I think, believe it's other two. We would have to install, provide the path, the WSGI Python path, and then WSGI script alias. Okay, so oops. So it'll be the WSGI. What I did wrong? WSGI. Okay. Python path. Okay, so this path would just take one parameter, and that's going to be the package path, the site packages, the Python site packages path. So that will be, we're going to point that to our virtual environment, the virtual environment path. So when we created the virtual environment, okay, so inside our code, this lib site packages. So this is what we're going to point it to. Okay, and that's all we have to add a space. Okay, so that's all we require for that. Okay, so the next one is the script alias. So WSGI script alias. Okay, and this take two parameters. It's going to take the directory or the path that we want it to be, and it's going to be the root. So we can just place a slash. And the next one will be the location. Okay, so this is going to be the location of our WSGI file. Okay, and this point we can't point it to anything right now because we don't have that WSGI file. When you may say we don't have a WSGI file, right? That's coming from Python. Okay, I'm sorry, that's coming from Django. So that WSGI, we would have to modify it a bit, but it's coming from Django. It's included when we create a package. I'm sorry, a project, and then where we create an app from Django. Okay, so so what we're going to do next step, we're going to just basically install the Django package, and from there then we're going to have to update the configuration file or the WSGI file to actually point to so it'll allow us to give us access to the actual folder, the directories that we need to execute it within Apache. Okay, so I'm going to go into my project, and this is my project. Yes, so go and bring up your terminal, and what we're going to do, because we don't have pip, let me see, pip freeze, we don't have Django installed yet, so we're just going to do a pip install. Okay, Django. Okay, and once that's installed, we would have access to a command called Django-admin, and that's going to allow us to actually create the project. Once we create the project, we're going to cd into the directory, and we're going to create an app. Okay, so I'm going to run Django-admin start project, and the name of the project, right? So name of project, I'm just going to name it backend. So this is going to be all the software, all the code on the back side of it, okay, which is going to be Python. So I'm just going to hit backend. I'm press enter, and it was created. You see we have the backend folder. Okay, so the next one we're going to have to cd into that backend folder, and then now we're going to use Python, because the reason why we're going to use Python, we're not going to use Django admin, because if I do an ls, we're going to utilize this file, manage py. Now this file is used extensively within the Django framework. So we're going to run Python manage py. Okay, and from there we can just create the app, right? So we're going to say start app, and then we space, and then we give it the name of the app, and I'm going to call it base. Whoops. I'm going to name the app just base. This is going to be the base, the root of my app. This is where I'm going to create my custom code inside this folder. Okay, and that was it. So now we would have access to the WSGI WSGI.pi file that I was referring to earlier. Um, so in order to do that, let me bring up my I'm gonna save this. Yeah, I'm saved. I'm gonna close out of it for now. I'm gonna open it up because I have to add. I'm gonna open a folder. Go to code, vin. All right, so this is gonna open this folder. We're gonna open it in code or whatever your editor is, and backend. Um, and you see right here WSGI.py. So this is the file that we're gonna point. Let's open up our Apache config file. So we're gonna have to add that in here. So I'm gonna go into so it's gonna be at the very bottom, right? So this we're gonna point it. We're gonna point that to here once we actually get it. Um, so it's gonna be basically back end. Okay. So right now we're not pointing anything to it. So we can just go into here. Then let's go back end, and this is the path. Okay. You can copy that, let's paste it, and then WSGI.py, save it. Okay, and now we can go back to that and we can just start making some changes to this file. So we're gonna basically import sys. Okay. Oh, what is this? This is an error for my laptop. Okay, so and then we're gonna just say we want to import the path. So this, all these imports that I'm importing, all these modules that I import, these packages, it's included with Python. This is part of Python. Okay, so I'm gonna do path lib. Okay, import path. Okay, and that's it from there. So it's just these two that we require, and then from here, let me go beneath this guy. Then we're gonna create a variable that will point to a path that will be it's going to take the first file in that path, right? Let's see. So what name we can just give path home. Okay, equals string. Okay, and then within the string we can call the path, and then here we can give it the magic method underscore file, and then that's going to call on the outside dot append dot parents plural, and then we're going to take the first one, the second one in there actually, because it starts 0 1 2 3, and that's it for that. And now we could just write a conditional statement. We could just write a conditional statement. So we could just basically gonna say if the path, if the home, if that location is not in the system path, do something. Okay. So basically, this is one-time thing. You're just gonna do this. You could probably copy this into a GitHub or something. You could just copy and paste it, so you would never have to do it again manually. So if path home, what happened to my this path home? Okay, is no. I would just use human read. I would just say not in sys.path. Okay. Shortcut keys is messed up. Okay. Then I would do sys.path. We're gonna append. Okay. So we're gonna append the home, the actual variable that we created. Okay. So and then get the space. So that's all we did. It was just these two, and we imported something. And that was it. That's it. We can close this. No need to. What was that? Was an error here somewhere? Oh, I thought I seen there. Sys. What's going on? Why you don't like this sys? Sys.path. Oh, I'm sure you've seen a path A. There's no. Okay. All right. This don't mind this. It's the Visual Studio Code. It's not finding this, but that's fine. It is no errors on there. So that's it basically. Now we would just have to make some more changes in our Apache config file. So basically we undid everything that we did in the previous video so we can actually execute scripts. Now the only thing that we would have to do is we're going to have to go into our directory, and we're going to have to point our directory. When I say directory, our document directory, that is, and we have to point the directory to our virtual environment, and which right now I'm doing it in a dirty way. This is like a extremely dirty way. Normally if you would create virtual um, Apache directories, and you would work off of that so you can have multiple websites and such, right? But I'm just doing it, I'm just killing my current directory, and then, but you can create virtual, and it'll work the same way if you create a virtual directory. Okay, so so I'm looking for the virtual directory, I'm sorry, my document directory. Probably past it. Let's go see it. Server admin localhost. Here we go. Okay, so underneath, so right here, that was on line 252, so I won't forget it. So I'm just going to copy this, right, because it's going to be the backend. This is the path there, 252, right? Okay, so we're going to just replace this. Okay, so it's no longer going to go to the point into the Apache folder. Instead, it's going to point to my virtual directory, which is the backend. So it's basically just pointing to this directory here. Okay, and that's it for that. And then underneath that, we will have to create a files. Okay, and then make sure I close it. Okay, so basically, and this is going to point to that WSGI file that we edited earlier, WSGI.py. Okay, okay, and then go down, and then from here we're just going to require all granted. So require all granted. Save that. So that's all that's required. Okay, so we changed the directory to point to our virtual environment, backend. So basically this guy here. So you got your virtual environment, you went into your project, and then you went into the project again. So this is, make sure it's pointing to where you have your WSGI file that is located in here. Okay, and then we require all granted. Okay, so now fingers crossed, let's restart the Apache service, and we should see the Django splash page, the default Django splash page. Okay, so let me get rid of this. I'm just going to hit localhost, and he's saying it works. Let's refresh. So it should point to just Django. There we go. It's pointing to Django, and you can see. So this is actually the back end of Django, and that's it's pretty cool if you don't. And this is Apache that's running instead of the Django development server. So we can make some changes in here, I believe, if I recalled. We got to go into our app. So backend, the base, views. Oh, there's nothing in our views. How do you make a change to the change? It's pointing to the base. Well, it's not important, but we can. So let's just try that. Since we already have it up and running, so let's change this. Let's in the next video, let's make some changes so we can actually see it up. Actually see something working. But as you can see, Django is running in Apache Web Server. So in the next video, we could probably make some changes. Let's create like a front end, whatever, some front end, some JavaScript, and so you can talk to the back end, which in this case, which is Django, right? So we're just going to pull information from Python, and it's going to bring it up on the browser. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.